What if I told you Lionel Messi just did something in MLS that no player in history has ever come close to, and the football world still isn't ready for the truth? Inter Miami were once called a broken team, a project doomed to fail, yet one man flipped their destiny completely. But how did Messi overcome injuries, pressure, non-stop defensive traps to dominate an entire league for the second straight season? And what shocking impact will this MVP win have on MLS next? Stay with me, because the answer is bigger than anyone expected, and it changes everything. We'll explain everything in this video, step by step. Don't skip it. Ladies and gentlemen, football lovers across the globe, buckle up, because we've got breaking news that's hotter than a Miami summer. Lionel Messi, the magician, the maestro, the man who turns pressure into poetry, has officially captured his second consecutive MLS MVP award, and the football world is buzzing like never before. What a journey it has been. Just think back to where it all started. Inter Miami struggling to find rhythm, injuries piling up, critics circling like sharks, doubters whispering the lightning doesn't strike twice. But then Messi stepped up, not with words, but with brilliance, week after week, delivering passes that sliced defences open like warm butter, free kicks that curved like they were guided by GPS, and goals that made fans leap out of their seats in pure disbelief. And today, all that magic, all that consistency, all that leadership gets rewarded. MLS officially announces Lionel Messi is your 2025 MVP. Again, consecutive, back-to-back. The king refuses to step off the throne. You could feel this moment building all season, whether it was those dramatic late winners, those jaw-dropping assists, or those vintage Messi runs that made defenders question their entire career chases. Every highlight reel screamed MVP. And let's not forget the pressure he carried. Every game sold out, every away stadium packed, cameras following him everywhere, a whole league's global spotlight resting on his shoulders. Yet he delivered calmly, gracefully, relentlessly. And into Miami. Oh, they transformed. A team once fighting to stay afloat suddenly became a force of nature. Chemistry, swagger, confidence, all flowing from the presence of one man who lifts everyone around him. You could see it in Busquets' passes, Alba's overlaps, the young players who grew wings playing beside greatness. Messi didn't just win an award. He elevated an entire club, an entire fan base, an entire league. But what really makes this MVP triumph special is the story behind it. This wasn't the easiest season. Injuries tested him. Fatigue challenged him. Opponents doubled, tripled, even quadrupled him. But Messi kept coming back, kept adapting, kept finding new ways to dominate. You could almost hear defenders begging the universe for mercy, but no, the GOAT was on a mission. And now, history made. Records shattered. Legacy reinforced. Lionel Messi stands tall as a two-time MLS MVP, and the scary part is, he's still not done. You can feel it. You can sense it. The fire is still burning. The hunger is still alive. And the magic is still dripping from every touch. So raise your hands, raise your scarves, raise the volume, because Inter Miami's superstar has once again proven why football is more than a sport. It's theatre, it's passion, it's heart-stopping draw. And Messi, ladies and gentlemen, remains the greatest performer the game has ever seen. Stay tuned, because if this season is any hint of what's coming next, MLS better fasten its seatbelts. Messi's back-to-back MLS MVP win showcases his dominance despite injuries, pressure, and constant defensive targeting throughout the season. And when you dive deep into what this achievement truly represents, you start to see the layers of struggle, resilience, and pure football brilliance that shaped his journey. This season wasn't a smooth ride wrapped in comfort and praise. It was a battlefield where every match demanded a new version of Messi, a stronger version, a more adaptive version. From the opening whistle of the campaign, teams across the league had one mission in mind: stop Lionel Messi at any cost. Every defence was built around him. Every tactical session included his name circled in red, and every opponent came with double and sometimes even triple marking strategies. They bumped him, shadowed him, kicked him, surrounded him, and yet none of it worked the way they hoped. Because Messi found ways to slip through every trap, drifting into pockets of space that only he could see, turning impossible angles into decisive passes and producing moments of genius that left defenders staring into the sky, wondering what they could possibly do differently next time. Even with physical setbacks that tried to slow him down, Messi turned adversity into fuel. Those brief injuries weren't just obstacles, they were reminders that greatness isn't defined by flawless seasons, but by how a player responds when the body protests and the odds tilt sideways. The pressure added its own weight too. Every stadium he stepped into was filled to capacity. Every camera lens waited for a new highlight. Fans from all over the world tuned in, expecting magic, expecting leadership, expecting the legend to deliver yet again. And instead of collapsing under that colossal expectation, Messi embraced it with the calm confidence only he possesses. Cut the pressure. and molded it into creativity, soaking in the attention and transforming it into performance. That lifted Inter Miami during rough stretches and inspired teammates to believe in something bigger. The physical targeting he faced throughout the season also tells you another side of the story. It shows how dangerous opponents believed he still was, how seriously they considered his influence, and how unstoppable they felt he would be if they gave him space. They crowded him because they feared him, they fouled him because they couldn't contain him, and they planned for him because ignoring him was simply not an option. But Messi turned every act of defensive desperation into motivation, proving time after time that restricting him only ignites his brilliance, whether it was weaving through pressure, drawing defenders to free up teammates, or using his vision to dismantle entire defensive setups with one touch. Messi showed a level of control, intelligence and artistry that reminded the world why he remains one of the greatest footballers to ever step onto a pitch. This MVP title is not just a trophy, it is a reflection of resilience, of experience sharpened by decades at the top, and of a player who refuses to let age or adversity define his limits. It symbolises how Messi continues to shape games, command attention and elevate the entire league through sheer excellence. Inter Miami's transformation from a struggling side to a title contending force highlights Messi's leadership and playmaking influence in ways that go far beyond simple statistics, because what happened within this team over the course of the season wasn't just improvement. It was a complete cultural shift powered by the presence, mentality and brilliance of one player. When Messi arrived, Inter Miami were known for inconsistency, moments of promise overshadowed by long stretches of frustration and a style of play that lacked identity. But this season became the turning point, the moment everything clicked. Because Messi didn't just join the squad, he reshaped its rhythm, its confidence and its ambition through every training session, every touch of the ball, every conversation with teammates. From day one there was a different energy, a different urgency, a feeling that something special was possible. And the players around him rose to the level demanded by a champion. The transformation wasn't instant, and that's what makes the story powerful. Early on, Miami faced injuries, lineup rotations, tactical experimentation, and games that didn't go as planned. But with Messi on the pitch, the team always had a compass, a sense of direction, and someone who made the impossible feel achievable. His playmaking became the heartbeat of Miami's attack, threading past that split defenses like pages in a book, pulling opposing midfield out of position with a single feint and creating chances out of situation that most players wouldn't even recognize as opportunity. With Messi orchestrating every movement, Miami's forwards gained confidence, midfielders found structure, and defenders felt safer knowing that one moment of brilliance could flip any match on its head. What truly changed was the belief that radiated through the squad. Players who once hesitated began taking risks. Younger teammates grew more expressive in their style because training with Messi wasn't just inspiring, it was educational. They watched his positioning, his decision-making, the way he scanned the pitch before receiving the ball, and it elevated their awareness. Veterans who had been waiting for a spark suddenly had a new drive, a new clarity of purpose. Their chemistry developed not because Messi demanded attention, but because he empowered others. His leadership wasn't loud. It was steady, consistent and rooted in example. When a star of his magnitude presses, tracks back, encourages teammates, and pushes through tough moments, the entire squad follows. That shift carried onto the field in the form of structure, creativity and fearlessness. Miami began dominating possession, controlling tempo, launching dynamic attack from deep positions, and playing with a swagger that hadn't been seen before. The team didn't just improve, it learned how to win, how to respond to setbacks, and how to dictate games against the strongest sides in MLS. Messi became the nucleus of everything, not by overshadowing teammates, but by unlocking their full potential. As the season grew, Miami stopped looking like an underdog and started moving like a contender, and that change will be remembered as one of the clearest examples of a single player's influence radiating through an entire football club. The season's biggest drama came from Messi's consistency under massive global spotlight, lifting teammates and breaking records along the way. And what makes this storyline so gripping is the way every match felt like an episode in a season-long spectacle where the stakes were always high and the attention never faded. From the moment the season kicked off, Messi stepped onto the pitch with millions watched, not just from Miami or the United States, but from every corner of the football world. Every touch was analysed, every sprint was replayed, every missed chance sparked conversations, and every moment of brilliance exploded across social media. Yet somehow, despite the weight of that constant scrutiny, Messi performed with a calmness and control that felt almost unreal, as if pressure simply dissolved the moment the ball reached his feet. His consistency wasn't just about goals and assists, although those came in abundance. It was about how he controlled matches, how he orchestrated tempo, how he influenced every phase of play without ever forcing the game. You could feel the intensity in the stadium every time he dropped deep to receive the ball. Fans rising to their feet because they knew something was about to happen. Opponents felt it too. They tightened their lines, shifted their shape, and prepared for impact, but Messi's timing was so impeccable. His vision so sharp that he could dismantle an entire defensive structure with a single pass. Each week, it became clear that while the world was watching him, he was watching the world with even greater focus, using the pressure as fuel rather than something that weighed him down. The drama peaked during those key matches where Miami needed him most. The comeback victories, the tight battles against the league's strongest defences, the moments when Miami seemed cornered and the game begged for a hero. Messi stepped forward with the same calm heartbeat he has shown for decades, delivering moments of brilliance that not only changed matches but changed the psychological momentum of the entire season. Whether it was a late free kick that curled through the air like a whispered message to the back of the net, or a defence splitting ball that brought the crowd roaring back to life, Messi's influence kept Miami alive in games where other teams would have folded. But the real beauty of his consistency was how it lifted everyone around him. Teammates played with more confidence because they trusted that at any moment Messi could reshape the game. Midfielders pushed forward knowing he would find them. Wingers made daring runs they wouldn't have attempted before. Strikers stayed patient because one perfect delivery was always coming. Even defenders carried themselves differently, more composed and more certain, because they believed in the collective strength Messi inspired. And all that unfolded while he shattered records almost casually climbing statistical charts without ever making the season about himself. It wasn't about proving anything to critics or chasing accolades. It was about performing at a level that demanded respect, setting standards that defined the league, and showcasing a professionalism that reminded everyone why he remains one of the greatest to ever play. His consistency wasn't just excellence, it was a season-long message that even under the brightest spotlight, true greatness continues to shine with effortless brilliance. His consecutive MVP triumph cements Messi's legacy in MLS, proving that even at this stage of his career, he continues to redefine excellence in ways that feel almost impossible. And when you look at how this award fits into the bigger picture of his journey, it becomes clear that this isn't just another individual honour. It's a statement about longevity, adaptability, and evolution. Messi has spent his entire career setting standards that other players chase, but what makes this particular milestone remarkable is the context surrounding it. He didn't win this MVP during his prime years in Europe, surrounded by a squad built for dominance and operating in a system designed around his strengths. He won it in a new league, in a new country, in a team that was still building its identity, and he did it not once but twice in a row, showing that his influence transcends environment, league style and physical demands. When he arrived in MLS, the expectations were astronomical. Fans hoped for magic, critics waited for decline, and analysts wondered whether the physicality of the league would affect him. With this second straight MVP, Messi has answered every question with performances that combine elegance and intensity, showing that greatness doesn't diminish with time, it evolves. His ability to adapt to the pace, the athleticism and the unpredictability of MLS underscored how deeply rooted his football intelligence is. Every run he made, every pass he delivered, every goal he scored reflected not just skill but an understanding of the game that allowed him to dominate in a completely different setting from the one he ruled for years. This MVP win also serves as a demonstration of how Messi's leadership has matured. He no longer relies solely on his individual brilliance, although that brilliance frequently decides matches. Instead, he elevates the entire team, shaping Miami's approach, encouraging younger players, guiding transitions and making everyone around him better. It's excellence rooted in experience. The type of leadership that shows true greatness isn't only about what a player can do with the ball, but also about how he influences the people around him. That influence is perhaps the clearest sign of his lasting legacy in MLS, because long after he leaves, the players who grew under his mentorship will carry his lessons with them, spreading his impact far beyond his actual time on the pitch. His second consecutive MVP is also a reminder that records and accolades follow him naturally like shadows. He isn't chasing them, they're chasing him. Every time he steps onto the field, he forces the sport to adjust to him, not the other way around. And in doing so, he pushes the league's visibility, relevance and competitiveness to levels it has never seen before. Sponsors, broadcasters and global fans are watching MLS in numbers that would have been unthinkable before his arrival. And this award is symbolic of how he has raised the ceiling for what MLS can represent on the international stage. What this MVP truly symbolises is the idea that greatness doesn't fade, it adapts, reinvents, and continues to inspire. Messi didn't come to MLS to slow down or to rehearse the past. He came to create new chapters, set new benchmarks, and leave a permanent imprint on a league hungry for global recognition. This award is another chapter in that growing legacy, a testament to a player who refuses to be defined by age or expectations, and who continues to show that excellence is not a moment but a lifestyle that shapes everything around it. Thank you for listening, and don't forget to like and subscribe.